Welcome to the session. Now, which is the correct use? Reminder after dividing or reminder on dividing? Suppose 23 is divided by 3. You get 7 as a quotient and 2 as a remainder. So what will you say? 2 is a remainder after dividing 23 by 3. 2 is a reminder on dividing 23 by 3. 2 is a reminder of dividing 23 by 3. Which is the correct word, correct preposition when we are talking of remainder when one number is divided by another. Let us see which is the correct one and which one should be used in which context. Now we should thank the student who asked me this question. It was actually a student who raised the question, and since I could not immediately answer, I referred it to AI, artificial intelligence. It's very useful nowadays. So I referred to the artificial intelligence this question, the student's doubt, which is correct. Remainder obtained on dividing A by B or remainder obtained after dividing A by B. Let us see what does the AI say. According to AI, the correct phrase, the natural and correct usage is remainder obtained after dividing A by B. The correct and natural usage in mathematics must be remainder obtained after dividing A by B. Why? Because this matches how we think. The division happens first and then we get the remainder. You get the remainder at the end of the process of division. So at the end of the process you get the remainder, means when the division is completed you get the remainder. So the remainder is obtained or would be obtained after completing the work of division. In many cases, you may not actually carry out the division. For instance, dividing by 2, you can actually obtain the remainder readily. If it's an even number, the remainder would be 0. If it's an odd number, it would be 1. Or say dividing by 3 or 9, you can find the sum of the digits and see what is the remainder after dividing by 3 or 9. So whether you divide or not, it is a remainder which would be obtained after completing the work of division. So remainder comes only when the division is complete. That's why AI is recommending remainder after dividing A by B. Now why after dividing is better? It shows the sequence. Remainder comes after the division process. This is the phrase after dividing. It's commonly used in math classes, math textbooks, and formal explanations. And it is easy for students to follow and remember. Division happens first and then remainder. So remainder after division. It is easy for the students to remember the sequence that first divide and at the end get the remainder. So that's why after dividing is preferred. Next, on dividing. What will happen if we say the remainder on dividing one number by another? On dividing is grammatically okay. It's grammatically correct, but it sounds and feels a bit awkward in mathematical explanations. Not commonly used in school level teaching. In school level teaching, we stick to remainder after dividing, although on dividing is grammatically okay, but it feels a bit awkward, particularly for young students. So normally it is not used in school level teaching or school level textbooks, although it is grammatically correct. So what is correct and what is preferred? The remainder obtained after dividing 23 by 4 is 3. And what is correct but a bit awkward? The remainder obtained on dividing 23 by 4 is 3. So we prefer after, but there is something more. Now there is also a third option. On dividing after dividing, there is a third option, often seen in aptitude test papers. You can see this in numerical aptitude questions. What is the remainder of dividing 2 power 20 by 7? Of dividing, neither on nor after. What is the remainder of dividing? This is not wrong, but it is rarely used in math textbooks. You can see this in numerical aptitude questions, but usually it is not used in mathematical textbooks. Is remainder of dividing acceptable? We saw what is the remainder of dividing something by something. Yes, it's acceptable in competitive exams and aptitude books. It's quite common. It is accepted as standard usage and correct in competitive exams and in aptitude test papers. It treats remainder of like result of. What is the result of dividing? Remainder of dividing, the result of dividing. The results are actually quotient and remainder. So one of the results of dividing one number by another. But for classroom mathematics, stick with remainder after dividing. And another alternative way of phrasing this remainder after dividing is when we divide a by b, what is a remainder? When we divide a by b, what is a remainder? Or what is a remainder after dividing a by b? So after dividing is always the first preference in school level. So here is a summary. We use a remainder after dividing for clarity and correctness. We avoid on dividing. It sounds awkward, particularly for school level. A remainder of dividing is fine in aptitude exams, but not in school level math. Let usage depend on the context. Formal math, it will be always after dividing. Competitive math, it can be on dividing or off dividing. So always at the school level, remainder after dividing should get the priority, the preference, the correct usage, absolutely clear usage, remainder after dividing. Remainder after dividing one number by another rather than on dividing or off dividing, although all the three are grammatically correct.